play with the devil's storms, reward by the grief storing his soul. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and welcome to all teachers, judges, and everyone willing to spare the time to watch this handmade video. My name is Dayang and Umaira, and I will be the representative from my school, Smka Tunaz, to review my favorite coffee color book and let me share my sentiments with everyone. House of Furries is the name of the book. In fact, the first book out of the Asylum series written by Madeline about a terrifying house that is more than meets the eye. This particular book is around 400 pages, and without further ado, let's jump into it. The story takes us back to the 18th century and mostly took place in North England. A young girl named Louisa worked hard to survive, doing whatever she could do to spare crumbs of bread for dinner. Far from home and far from the pain of living in a school she despised, she found herself in a situation she could not easily get away from. Now, this is where it got tricky. Louisa desperately needs space to work. Why, you might ask? With nowhere to live, it makes sense she wanted to find a job and wanted to earn some money to support herself. She was offered a job working as a maid in a house by a crone that approached her. As a homeless person, she felt relieved to find having an income of her own. But what a pity. The very place she was hoped to earn some living is also a place where all the evil leaked through every hole and corner of the building. As she called, the house would turn with a warning though and spinningly precarious, and with the sun in its back, not a building of stone and mortar, but a place of pure shadow. And so she arrived at the supposed house named Cold Thistle House, the house full of porters and wanderers. At first, everything seemed ordinary. Of course it is. What would she expect exactly? For a glass of birds to be sucking the soul of the guest residing in the house? Or maybe the owner of the house and associate of the devil himself? It was worse than that. Far worse than what a young girl could handle. Along her journey unraveling the mysteries of the house, Louisa met a strangely well-dressed man. Lee, she called him. Just as soon as she got roped into the madness of the house, she also formed a relationship with Lee, helping find his unknown heritage. However, there is one thing she is concerned about. The owner of the house speaks of the house being destined for people who deserve to meet their end because of what they have done in the past. When the truth about the house came out, Louisa felt sick down to her stomach when thinking about the so-called employees. She has been worth it as literal murderers. Her survival instinct only told her one thing is to run and never look back. Trying to escape, she then realized that not only the guests are destined to be in the house, every single living and non-living thing has their own reason for why they were kept in the manor, and that includes her newfound friend, and also Louisa herself. And the reason why I will reveal at the end of the book. Though there is one thing that is worth noting, for once you have stepped in the house, there is no turning back. So let's proceed to the next item on the agenda, which is the character. The main character, Louisa Ditton, has a very massive character development throughout the story. Mature yet naive, cunning yet easily fooled, she is at first a lost-spoken girl with sharp sense to keep an eye out for people who wish to bring harm to her. This is naturally developed because of the past being disliked by her own family. After that, she ran away from Ireland to England and was brought into the coldest house by the crown. It is obvious the changes in the character started to become more apparent the longer she stayed there. She still has a sharp sense, but the long-spoken her quickly died after seeing the horror of people and how evil human nature can be. I observed the main character and perceived her as somewhat a selfish person at the beginning of the book. But when I saw the progression of the book, it fascinated me to find that Louisa became braver and bolder in the decision to risk her safety for others' sake. For example, when I first read the book, Louisa did not even spare a glance with others. Then if you compare her to the second half of the book, you can clearly see that Louisa started to care in general. It's said that she did not want to be a coward anymore and wanted to save someone dear to her for once in her life. And I personally don't know whether it's for the best and not the opposite. Moving on, I would like to talk about the writing style of the book. It took me a while to be comfortable with the writing style of the book. old-fashioned style and classic books all over will suit the book with how it is written in the era of the 18th century. The words used are quite advanced and require a deep understanding how the setting worked to be able to imagine the story quite vividly. And to sum it up, the most important question is, do I recommend the book? Yes, for someone who is interested in the horror and supernatural genre, I really enjoyed reading the book, and I am sure people that share my interests will also feel the same. Both book leans more towards the gothic and mystery rather than horror, as I thoroughly appreciated the story. What I like the most about the book is the way the main character develops, which made me wonder how easily humans' attitude can change as their surroundings and environment influence their train of thought. This book teaches me to be more aware and vigilant of my surroundings and not be controlled by them. It looks like the time is ticking away. A pleasure to entertain these past few minutes have spared me. Thank you all.